Hello, everyone. My name is Lexi. Welcome back to Sincerely Self podcast. I'm so excited because today we are joined by another amazing guest. Today, Jennifer Williams is joining us. So, Jennifer, tell us a little bit about you and kind of what led you to the creation of your business.
Well, hi, Lexi. Thank you for having me. And thanks to all your listeners for tuning in. So, as you said, I founded St. Louis Closet Company. That was in 1991, 34 years ago. I was actually in graduate school studying public relations and marketing. And a lot of school students, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was just in school, plugging away, waitressing at a couple restaurants. And I got a part-time job at a brand new closet company in St. Louis. And I started working there for 2 weeks and I fell in love with what I was doing. It was one of those sort of light switch turn on moments, right? I mean, it was just like, oh my gosh, this is it. I love this. I was always a super organized person. My mom said I was organizing my closet in middle school. And I loved the instant gratification, the benefit, the beauty, the organization, the peace of mind people got. And I was like, I'm going to do this. So I quit working for the other closet company and I dropped out of graduate school. I wrote a business plan and got a small business administration loan. And that was sort of how I got started. Entrepreneurship was in my family. My grandparents were entrepreneurs. They owned their own grocery store. My parents were entrepreneurs. They owned their own computer business. So entrepreneurship was not this crazy thing for me. It wasn't necessarily something I sought out to do, but people are always like, well, were you scared? Was it hard to take a risk? I think when you're young, taking risks is easier, right? I mean, I
Mhm.
didn't have a mortgage payment. I didn't have a husband. I didn't have kids. I was young and I felt like I was just, ready and willing. I had more energy and I was just ready to go. And so even today, I talk to a lot of high school and college kids, and I remind them that 9 out of 10 small businesses fail in the first 5 years.
Mhm.
So, with those kind of odds, if you think you want to own your own business, get started. Get started and, have an idea, have a passion, something that you're going to love because you're going to do it all the time.
Yeah, I feel like the best kind of businesses always come out of the blue. Like you have to completely change what you were doing and just kind of go with what your gut's telling you. So I love how you were kind of doing something a little bit different. You're like, you know what? This feels right. This is what I'm gonna do.
Well, and sometimes, I find that you don't set out and say what am I going to sell, what is going to be my business. Instead you see or identify a problem, right? And you're like,
Hmm.
okay, this problem needs to be fixed. If I'm having this problem, other people are too. So you find a solution to fix a problem, and then all of a sudden people need and want your services or your product because they're going to have that same problem. So it's not always just setting out to, oh, I want to own my business and set my own schedule and make a lot of money. And hopefully those things will come. But if you start a small business with just that in mind, I don't
Hmm.
think you're going to be successful. I think you have to have a solution to a problem. You have to have a passion for what it is that you're doing. And you have to be willing to work really, really hard. It is true when you work for yourself, you may get to set your own schedule, but that also means that, you are with your business 24/7. And,
Hmm.
you take your business on vacation with you. And so it's not always, as easy as it looks.
Yeah, I love that you brought that up because I think entrepreneurship, especially right now, is pretty glamorized in a way on social media. People are like, oh, create your own business, work for yourself, make a bunch of money. You don't have to worry about having a boss. You're your own boss. But nobody talks about the process to get there and the dedication you have to have and maybe failing and having to try again. So I love that you're like, it's going to be kind of a journey, but if you're willing to do it and you have a problem and solution, then maybe you can do it.
Right, right. And it is a journey. And all along the way, I find that the most successful business owners are those type of people who can make decisions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the average person makes something like 30,000 decisions a day. It's crazy. You know, we wake up and we decide, oh, are we going to drink water? Are we going to drink coffee? Are we going to wear the red sweater or the blue sweater? So you're making all these decisions. Well, when you're a small business owner, if you're not good at making critical decisions, then you're going to pause, but then also your employees, your customers, and your business are going to also pause. And you
Mm-hmm.
can't ever get that time back. So you have to be able to make good decisions, right? Or at least educated decisions, and move
Mm-hmm.
forward, knowing that maybe along the way you may have to recorrect a little bit, but you have to keep moving forward. And every day you're going to be hit with, adversity. Every day something's going to happen, that you weren't expecting, right? I mean, some things are bigger than others, but you never know what it's going to be. I mean, maybe there's, we're expecting like a big windstorm and hail and possible tornadoes tomorrow. So I'm like, okay, we need to park all of our vans inside tonight because I don't want to have them, get hail damage or have the windshields, busted out with hail. So then that
Mm-hmm.
means today we have to move some stuff around in our manufacturing plant so that the vans will fit inside. It's not a big deal, but it's something that you have to deal with each and every day. You know,
Mm-hmm.
things are going to happen in the history of my business. We had 9/11, we had the Great Recession of 2008, and we had COVID. And all three of those things were life-changing events that nobody could prepare for. And so you just have to be able to just wake up in the morning, hopefully open up your organized closet door, get yourself
Mm-hmm.
ready for the day, and, take on the world. But take on the world knowing that it's going to be great and it's going to be challenging. It's going to be hard. It's going to be sad. It's going to be happy. It's going to be wonderful. But it's one of the things about entrepreneurship that I love so much is it's never the same, right? Every day is a little
Yeah.
bit different.
Mm-hmm. And with entrepreneurship, I feel like you have to have a lot of organization in your business to be able to make those kind of last minute calls in a way and those last minute like good decisions. So through your 34 years of experience, what have you noticed is the link with home organization and business organization?
Well, just hitting on what we just talked about. When you wake up in the morning, usually, the bathroom and the closet are the two areas you go to first, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you can start your day off with organized space, right? Imagine opening your closet. You can see all of your shoes. You can see all of your clothes. Maybe you're super organized and you have your clothes color coordinated and you have matching hangers. And you're able to just walk in and get your clothes, get dressed, and walk out of there and start your day with this like feeling of accomplishment, feeling that I'm organized, feeling that you're not stressed out, you're not, rooting around looking for that one shoe or trying to find those black pants that got shoved in the back corner. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it sort of sets you up for success. And I feel like when you start out your day, I think there's a book about if you wake up in the morning and you make your bed, right? The people who wake up and make their bed are more likely to become millionaires than people who don't make their bed. So that goes to
Mm-hmm.
the chicken and the egg thing, right? Is it those type of people make their bed, or because you made your bed, you're become those type of people? But
Yeah.
starts with, being organized. Rubbermaid did a study a few years ago that said having an organized closet will save you 10 minutes every day. So that's more than an hour a week. It's 4 to 5 hours a month that you have back in your life that you can maybe spend that extra 10 minutes in the morning meditating or reading or getting to work early so that you're not rushing out the door at the last minute, because you can't find your keys or your purse.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I think having an organized home in general, not just your closet, but maybe, working moms, having your kids organized. Once again, it just makes the whole morning routine so much easier, smoother. People are in a better mood. If your kids wake up and they can find their clothes, and then you go downstairs and maybe you have an organized mudroom or drop zone where they can find their book bags and their homework and your keys and your purse, and you all get out of the door an extra 10 minutes early, and you're not running late. You're not stressed out. Same thing if you work from home, right? I
Hmm.
mean, working from home is just as important as working in an office. You need to have that time, that sort of clear headedness that you can start your day. And, I feel like if people are organized at home, they bring those skills into their workplace. They bring those skills, kids bring those skills into their schoolwork.
Yeah.
Um, and it just starts trickling down to everything that you do. And organization, I'm telling you, Lexi, I mean, if you get one, I always tell people start small, right? Don't decide you're going to go, listen to this podcast and then go organize your whole entire life. That's just like too much. Start small.
Hmm.
Pick a junk drawer, pick your sock drawer, pick your entry hall, your coat closet, and organize one small space, right? Take everything out, clean the space really good, maybe buy some organizers or matching hangers.
Hmm.
Try everything on, only keep the things that you wear and that you like. Donate things back to the community that you don't need or use anymore. And all of a sudden, that one drawer, that one closet, you're going to take a picture of it. You're going to post it on social media and be like, oh my God, look at my organized coat closet. And you're going to show your friends and your family. And every time you walk by it, you're going to open it up and you're going to be like, look at this. This is amazing. Now I'm going
Hmm.
to go do the other closet, or I'm going to go do the pantry, or I'm going to go do the laundry room. And all of a sudden, organization becomes like contagious, right? And
Yeah.
you get excited about it and you start noticing, I think throughout your whole life, all of a sudden you think, oh, I can organize my car. Oh, I can organize digital files on my phone. How many photos do we have, right? On our
Hmm.
phones? How many emails do we have? All of a sudden you can start organizing and setting up files for your emails. And everything just starts moving, I think, better and easier and quicker and less stressful than when you're disorganized.
Yeah. And I would even say, I feel like our space, our home, our room, our closet is almost a visual representation of our mind. And we don't even realize how much a cluttered space or an unorganized space affects how we think and how we feel, and maybe even our anxiety levels. So I love that you were like, just even starting small, you're going to feel so rewarded because it really makes a difference in how you feel.
Oh, absolutely. It does. And it's a small reward, and you don't have to rush out and buy a custom closet to get this, or start small. You can declutter for no cost at all. Um
Hmm.
and really start cleaning out the things in your life that maybe you don't need, you don't wear, or broken or ripped, expired food in your pantry. Just, as a mom, my kids are now in their 20s, but when they were growing up, they were outgrowing their clothes and shoes so fast. And you were
Hmm.
constantly buying more clothes, more shoes. But then we would never take the time to get rid of the stuff that didn't fit them anymore. Right. Because
Yeah.
it was just sort of like, oh, well, it's still brand new. Oh, it still looks really good, but they're not going to wear it because they've already outgrown it. So, take that time to think, okay, my kids aren't going to wear this, but it's still in really great shape. Are there people and families out there who maybe don't have the money or the resources to buy their kids clothes? And how can we figure out a way to, donate that to a worthy cause?
Because I do think a lot of people feel upset about like getting rid of things if it's in good condition, even though it doesn't fit or you're not using it anymore. And sometimes people don't even think about donating it to back to your community, to Goodwill, to somewhere where there's going to be people who can benefit from it. And I do know that you frequently donate to different organizations in your community. How have you noticed that has improved your life?
Well, I opened my business 34 years ago, and St. Louis Closet Company has always given back to the community in different ways, right? When I first opened, maybe we gave a gift certificate to an auction or small things. And through
Hmm.
the years, as a small business owner, you'll start getting asked by a lot of people and a lot of charities to help. And, sometimes you're in a position where you can help and sometimes you're not. But it was 2020. It was right before COVID hit, and I had decided I wanted to put together a program that St. Louis Closet Company could make a meaningful impact with our community. And I put a lot of thought into it, and I decided that what I wanted to do was each month, each quarter, depending on the different charities, we would partner with a local charity. I'm a locally owned small business here in St. Louis, and I believe in supporting small business and I believe in giving back to your community. So I wanted the charities to be here in my community. I wanted the things that I did for those charities to stay here.
Yeah.
So what I did is I founded something called Closets for a Cause, and we would partner with the charities. And whether it was donating a percentage of sales that month to the charity or collecting items that they needed, or allowing those charities to come in and use our resources. We have a big conference room and we'd let them come in and use our conference room or use our showroom for events. And it really became a partnership because we benefited, as a business owner, we received benefit because here's this charity telling all of their members, look how great this company is. You need to support this. You need to support St. Louis Closet Company because they're helping us. They're giving back. And then we would partner online with social media. We would create a graphic and a logo and talk about the monthly giveaway and the partnership. And then they would share it to their viewers and we would share it to ours. And it really just became this, wonderful collaboration between us and the charity. And then we would bring in our customers so that they could be part of it. And it was sort of like a win-win-win. The charity benefited, we benefited as a business, and the customers benefited. For example, right now we're doing a partnership with a charity called Dress for Success, and they collect dress clothes for women and men so that when they go out to interview for jobs, they don't have dress clothes. They don't have interview ready clothes. So here I have a whole database full of customers that I know have lots of clothes they're no longer wearing. And what a
Hmm.
great opportunity for them to be able to donate the clothes. It gets my customers to start thinking about organizing and cleaning out their closets. That's great for me. It
Hmm.
gives my customers a great charity to donate their clothes to. And then the charity benefits because they're receiving all these beautiful clothes that they're going to give to these women and men who are trying to get back on their feet and get out there and get jobs and careers. So it like I said, it's a win-win-win. And a lot of small businesses I talk to say, well, we just can't afford to donate to charities, right? We're just
Hmm.
barely making it every day. Well, think outside the box, right? I mean, this particular donation isn't costing St. Louis Closet Company money. It's costing us our time a little bit because we have to, collect the clothing and make sure it's clean and in good shape. We have to, you know, talk about it on social media. So we're coordinating it, but it's not really costing any money, but it's making a big impact for the charity. So I really encourage entrepreneurs and small businesses to figure out a way to get you and your employees involved with your local community and your local charities and give back because it will turn around and give back to your business tenfold.
Yeah. I love that you were saying how it really doesn't have to cost that much money. You can be creative with it because I think so many times small businesses, the reason that they aren't donating and using that to amplify their business is because they're worried about the money side. So I love how you were like, you can involve your community and donate back, especially like people who are in the clothing industry in any sort. They could definitely use donating as some sort of fundraiser.
Right, absolutely. During the holidays, we do a big Toys for Tots donation, where we have our clients and the whole community bring in new unwrapped toys for, the children in St. Louis that don't have toys Christmas morning. And
Hmm.
this year I wanted to make it even bigger. So I had heard about a local charity of women who make these beautiful baskets from all around the world, right? They weave these gorgeous baskets. Well, they bring them into the United States and then they turn around and sell them. Well, there's a charity right here in St. Louis that sort of processes that whole thing. Well, some of the baskets that come in and maybe they're just a little bit off or a different color or they don't match and they can't sell those. So they have
Hmm.
piles and piles and piles of these baskets and they don't know what to do with them. Then there's a local guy who owns a bookmobile who goes around to neighborhoods that are underserved with no libraries and things. And he gets books donated to his bookmobile, but he gets so many books he can't even give them all away. So
Mm-hmm.
what I did is I brought both of them into our Toys for Tots donation and said, hey, these beautiful baskets that you can't sell, and you have all these extra books. So what if we made book baskets for the kids? So in addition to getting a new unwrapped toy, they also get a book basket. And it was just really sort of this great, once again, collaboration of Toys for Tots, St. Louis Closet Company, and then these two other non-for-profits that had stuff to give, but didn't really have an outlet in how to figure out having to give it away.
Yeah, that's
So
so cool. I love how you brought in other resources from the community to create something to donate back.
yeah, it was amazing. And Toys for Tots was blown away. They were like, this is the greatest idea ever. Right? Because each family that they show up with toys, they're like, and then we left them with a basket full of beautiful books.
Yeah, that's so amazing. I love that you've been doing that. That's so cool.
Thanks. It was really we set our sights on being the number one largest donation site in St. Louis, Missouri for the Toys for Tots every year. So we did it this year by lot. So it was great.
That's so exciting. I'm excited to see where it will be at this upcoming year.
Yeah, me too.
So, the last question I have for you, Jennifer, is someone who struggles a lot with organization and they feel overwhelmed with trying to even start the process. What advice would you give to them?
Well, going back to what we talked about, start small, right? Don't
Mm-hmm.
try to take it all at one time, right? If you try to organize your whole house in one day, you're going to be so overwhelmed, you may never try organization again. Start small. Second thing is maybe hire a professional organizer. These are people that
Yeah.
will come into the house and they charge maybe hourly and they will really help you go through stuff. And they're not going to have that emotional attachment to your things like you do. And they're going to
Mm-hmm.
really force you to make some hard decisions. Right? So having and maybe if you don't even want to, hire a professional organizer, bring in a friend of yours who you know is going to be like, "Okay, Lexi, it's time. Let's start getting rid of these shoes. We know you don't wear them anymore. Let's start getting rid of these shoes." So
Mm-hmm.
bring someone else in who is not emotionally attached to the items. That's always
Yeah.
helpful. Call a custom closet company. Most custom closet companies offer free estimates. And what they'll do is they can walk around your house and they can measure and design any area of your home that you may think that you want to add some shelving or extra hanging or shelving or drawers or baskets for all over your house. We can do basements, garages, mudrooms, laundry rooms, entertainment centers. Um, and then the final thing is, and I think we can all do this a little better, be really, really careful about your purchasing.
Yeah.
I think that we live in a world right now where we all shop too much. We spend too much money. We buy stuff at the big box stores. We order stuff off of Amazon. There's this whole trend with fast fashion. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of young people are just ordering in. I know I see my daughter ordering in, you know, all these $20 dresses. And I'm like, oh, what are you doing? And we have too much stuff.
Yeah.
So be really, really careful how much you buy. And when you do buy something, are you really, really going to use it? Or do you really, really need it? Or is it really, really going to bring you joy?
Mm-hmm.
And ask yourself those questions before you just start bringing more and more stuff into your apartment, your condo, your house, because the more you bring in, the more cluttered it's going to become. And no matter how organized you are, if you just have too much stuff, you're never going to be able to get organized.
Yeah. Overconsumption, I feel like, is so glamorized almost in a way nowadays. And so I love that you're like kind of second guess all some of your purchases if it's a need or if it's really a want. Because I think so many times we buy small things here and there because we like it or it's cute or it's cheap, but that builds up over time. So I love that you're like kind of think about it again, see how much you need
About it.
it.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
there's, the old fashioned one in, one out rule, right? If you're going to buy
Yeah.
something, okay, well then get rid of something, right? I mean, make yourself a goal that you're not going to just keep bringing more and more and more stuff in.
Mhm. Yes, I love it. Thank you, Jennifer, so much for sharing your insight with us. I will have the website and also the Instagram for St. Louis Closet Company like Jennifer said, they do free estimates. So if you guys want to go and check it out, if you really wanted to work on organization, make sure you go and look at that. Thank you, Jennifer, for sharing your insight with us.
Well, thank you, Lexi. And just for all your listeners, I know you're in Utah, right? Um,
Yes.
we only service the St. Louis area. However,
Hmm.
there are custom closet companies all over the United States. So if somebody wants to reach out to me, I'm happy to recommend somebody, and search out a locally owned business. Keep your money
Yes.
in your business in your communities.
Yes, I love it. Okay, thank you so much, Jennifer. And
Thanks,
I will see
Lexi.
you guys next week.